Good evening. Welcome to our program, Women to Women. I'm Carol Paz, your hostess, and as always promised, we have a very special lady with us tonight. But before we get into the program, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Bank of the West, a very familiar name here in Carson City as well as in the state of Nevada. If you want your name to be known, you do your banking with Bank of the West. We'd also like to thank Villa Basque Deli and Cafe, home of Pete's famous Basque chorizo, right here in Carson City, and it is delicious. We'd also like to thank Carpa Nevada LLC, importer of fine Portuguese olive oils, aged balsamic vinegar, and international health teas. So with that, let's turn to our guest, Kellie Butterworth. Kellie, I'd love to welcome you to our show.
Thank you.
Nice to have you.
Thank you for having me.
You know, Kellie, we have not known each other very long, but your name came to my attention because of some really wonderful teamwork that you do, and we're going to talk about that in the second half of the show. But you work now in Douglas County, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Does that tell me that you are a native-born Nevadan?
I am. I'm actually fourth generation Nevadan.
Oh, do you know anything about the genealogy, the background of your family, where they originally came from?
My grandmother's family is Italian. My grandfather's family is Nordic.
Ah.
So
I see the combination.
Right. So my grandmother, her parents migrated here from Italy, and so her family was all from Italy. And then my grandfather was raised in Reno, and he was born to a huge family. There was 12 kids in his family.
Wow.
And they were raised on a farm where Huffaker School is in Reno.
Okay.
And then my grandmother was born in Minden, Gardnerville.
All right.
And that's where my dad was born and raised also.
You have a great family background that contributes, I would think, to your children, to your brothers and sisters, to the whole family. Do you still have that extended family that Europeans carry on to this day? Is that a part of your involvement with relationships?
Yes, it is. I actually have, on my grandmother's side, 35 first cousins. And so I'm pretty much related to half of Carson City. That's what everybody always says. Who are you not related to?
That's great.
There aren't
That's
many.
wonderful. That's
so,
wonderful.
And in Douglas County, working out there, it's really nice because I actually have relationships with a lot of the folks that I treat out in Washoe County because they know my dad and his whole family because there was 9 kids in his family.
And they trust you.
They do. They do. It took a while, but they finally trusted me.
Great, great. Now, when you were growing up with all those cousins, what was life like?
Hectic. We would go out to my grandmother's every Sunday.
All right.
And it would probably be half of the kids, if not all of the kids out there with all of the cousins. And grandma always came first, wood, hunting, that kind of thing.
Yes.
She always got first pick of the hunting spoils, first pick of the wood, and everything like that. We took care of her before we took care of anybody else.
And that bespeaks of a time that we've almost lost where the respect for elders is so important. It's still practiced in the European nations per se, in other Far East, very much so. Why do you think that's kind of a disappearing act here in the States? It's not totally disappeared.
No. And I think in the community that I work in, it's really great because they really take care of their elders. But I think in the nation that we live in, I think that the kids kind of tend to take care of themselves almost, and they're far removed from their relations and
from their place of birth often.
Their place of birth, and their families don't necessarily take care of each other. It's kind of
there's an independent spirit.
Exactly, independent spirit.
Yes,
exactly.
that in this country really wants to establish itself and bring itself forward. And I'm not sure that that's such, in some ways it can be healthy,
right?
But in other ways it can be lonely.
Exactly.
And disconnecting.
Exactly.
Well, Kellie, okay, what do you exactly do in Douglas County in terms of a career?
Excuse me. I am a dental hygienist, and I work for the Washoe Tribe of California and Nevada. And it's a pretty small community. They have a great health center. And it's the Dresslerville Tribe. And the health center, we have vision, dental, and medical. And it's a very small, tight-knit community, and they take care of each other. And they really utilize their health center, which is great because it's a really it's a really fabulous health center, actually. I was quite surprised when I started working out there, having been in private practice for 25 plus years.
What brought you from private practice, okay, which can be quite lucrative in terms of finances and a wealth of clients, etc. What made your head turn toward the Washoe tribe?
I think I really have a heart for mission, and I felt like working for the Washoe tribe was really doing a mission project close to home. Just really reaching out to that community, educating their children, educating the elders and the adults, and just taking care of that population. It's just close to my heart.
We had a native Washoe woman during the first year, and I won't mention her name without her permission.
Right.
But culturally, there's still so much of that imbued in them. What have you come to learn about the Washoe peoples and the significance of the culture that they come from in their lives today?
They're very close-knit. They take care of their own, grandparents taking care of kids while the parents work. And they just really are family-oriented. They really respect their elders. They're just really, they love their culture still to this day. They really like to promote their heritage.
Their language as well.
Their language, yes. There's a really big push in that community to learn the Washoe language. In fact, all of our signage in the clinic is in Washoe and then in English.
Okay.
And there's a very few young people that are learning to speak Washoe.
I imagine that takes a great focus and a great passion because it would not be an easy language for us to learn.
Right.
Okay. It would take a real identification with it. That's great. Now, what are some of the concerns that, whether you're from a Paiute tribe or a Washoe tribe or any other tribe, what are some of those concerns that you see as a dental hygienist that you're glad that you can attend to? That if you weren't there, it might not be attended to?
I think the education, how to take care of your teeth, how to avoid caries, how to just be healthy in general. And I think the clinic as a whole really focuses on overall health. In fact, we just had a women's health fair. And so they do that a lot. They do a women's health fair, a kids' health fair, a men's health fair, an elder health fair. So they really focus on the overall health of the population of the tribe, which is really great.
When it comes to the care of teeth, probably the general public is not even as aware as they should be about what can happen when we really do allow our teeth, our gums, the whole mouth system to be just kind of pushed to the side and say, well, that's not important. I inherited great teeth, okay?
Right.
They're going to take care of themselves. What are we missing in that kind of thinking?
It's really great now. The medical community is finally recognizing that oral health affects the entire body. So I'm really excited about that whole turn of events because it used to be kind of a disconnect from the neck up. They wouldn't really focus on teeth affecting any other part of the body. And honestly, a lot of ailments are first recognized in the mouth.
In the mouth.
Diabetes.
Such as?
Diabetes.
Okay. Because what's happening in the mouth that says red flag diabetes, perhaps?
In a diabetic, they don't heal well.
Okay.
They cannot fight infection. And, gingivitis, a lot of people have heard gingivitis from the Listerine commercials and the toothpaste commercials. And so, but a diabetic cannot fight off infection as well as a healthy person without diabetic.
So you might see some sores or wounds that have not healed properly over this period of time they should have healed.
Right. Their gum tissue doesn't heal well. It doesn't respond to treatment, that kind of thing. So there are some autoimmune diseases that kind of manifest themselves.
Such as?
Lupus.
Okay.
And of course, HIV and that kind of thing really manifests itself first in the oral cavity. Herpes, you can kind of get an idea of the herpetic the way the herpes is taking over, like with shingles, because once you get like chicken pox or a herpes lesion, like a cold sore on your lip, that's in your system forever. And so if you get chronic cold sores and that kind of thing, that kind of puts up a red flag that maybe your body cannot fight that disease off. So we need to kind of look at the whole body, like, you know, you might want to think about getting a shingles vaccine to kind of prevent that from taking over.
Right. Now, in your years within the dental hygienist profession, and you had a really great background and experience, to walk with you into the tribal society. But I understand that you've also taken that walk even further out of the country. Okay. Where have you gone with this background, with this need or passion within you to share what a difference good oral health can make in terms of other people's lives?
I think my first inkling of the importance was, it was my second mission trip with the church. We went to a little kind of community outside of Tijuana called La Planicia.
Okay.
And I was just there with the church. We were doing building projects, helping a sister church out there with the pastor's home and that kind of thing. And there happened to be a little medical clinic right next door. And they found out I was in dentistry. And so they approached me and they said, come next door and look at teeth. And I was like, I don't have any of my stuff. And so I started thinking, wow, maybe there is a need for, you know, for oral health and that kind of thing. But in the broad spectrum, most of the mission work was just dentists. You know, the Mercy ships.
Right, like Doctors Without Borders.
Doctors Without Borders. It was all focused on dentistry, you know, meeting the immediate needs.
Yes.
Not necessarily teaching the younger population how to take care of their teeth.
Okay, so your second trip out of the country was down into a small village in Mexico.
Right.
And we want to talk about where now, do you consider the Washoe tribe as your first mission?
I don't know, because I went to Dominican Republic twice before that.
Before Mexico?
Before I worked for the tribe.
Okay, so let's talk about that when we come back. Some of the things that you see in other countries, because I too have lived in different nations and have been shocked, dumbfounded at what other children, other adults live with all their lives because they don't get to see a doctor or a dentist.
Right.
We'll be right back. This is a moving part.
I was 36, wanted to do something that was boldly different. We sold our house, drove west with the idea that we were going to be in the wine industry. We lived in a teepee for 2 months.
I mean, if you're going to do something, why not do it with your whole heart?
It's that creative outlet of being able to make something and make something that comes from the land. Bank of the West said, we have complete faith in your brand. Don't do anything to compromise it. Banks don't say things like that.
Come to the Carson Horseshoe Club for fun and friendly service. Play your favorite games, join our Players Club where you get cash for points plus food comps, and enjoy casual dining in our Lucky Horse Grill. Get it all in the heart of downtown Carson City at the family-owned, local favorite Carson Horseshoe Club.
Apex SCF provides cutting-edge, hands-on training that effectively addresses today's threats of violence.
The Apex Stay Alive course teaches proven methods for personal protection and attack countermeasures that can be applied in any environment. In your home, at the workplace, or on campus, Apex will teach you the necessary skills to stay alive, including how to recognize and react to an active shooter scenario.
If you knew you had to fight for your life tomorrow, would you train today? Contact us now to sign up for a class in your region.
Hi, I'm Stephen Lincoln with CarsonCityHomes.com, Carson City's original online real estate resource.
At CarsonCityHomes.com, you get effective and easy-to-use tools to help you select your next home today. With our easy-to-use website, you can search listings throughout Northern Nevada and narrow the results by selecting every facet, quirk, and quality you desire. Visit CarsonCityHomes.com.
How would you feel if a fire broke out in your home and you couldn't hear the smoke alarm? Especially if it's someone you love. Visit ReadyWasher.com to receive a smoke alarm that is specially designed for the deaf and hard of hearing. These smoke alarms send a wireless signal to a receiver that gives you strobe and vibration notification.
Local fire departments urge everyone to be prepared.
Visit ReadyWasher.com to help assure the safety of your family.
Welcome back to the second half of our show, Women to Women. We're here with Kellie Butterworth, who is a dedicated dental hygienist, but also a dedicated person to other people who really need a touch of humanity. And with her experience and background, it's a pleasure to interview her. Before we get started with the second portion of Kellie's story, let's thank our sponsors for the second half of the show. Dr. Kent Gabriel, one of the finest plastic surgeons in the United States, and we're privileged to have him not only living but practicing right here in Carson City. His specialty is with hands that need to be repaired in any way. So if you're thinking about consultation or you're thinking about any phase of plastic surgery, Dr. Kent Gabriel is the man to see. We'd also like to thank the Horseshoe Club, local favorite right here in downtown Carson City in the historic district. If you'd like to step back in time to the Old West, venture into the Horseshoe Club. You have a wealth of information waiting for you and a good time. We'd also like to thank carsonnow.org, which is the place to go, the site to go, the internet site to go when you're wondering what's going on in Carson City. It's all there for you to read and to take a look at. Remember that site, carsonnow.org. Now let's return to Kellie. Kellie, again, thank you so much for being with us. You know, you were just sharing with us that your second mission trip to take your dental hygienist experience and background was down into Mexico. And you had had trips before that time to what other nations?
My first mission trip was to Mexicali, Mexico.
Okay.
And it helped, again, a sister church, kind of doing building projects. So my first two missions were all kind of construction. Getting the groundwork set for our sister churches.
But you were seeing things other than construction while you were there. What were your eyes taking in?
Honestly, I focused on the kids. And it was heartbreaking, especially on not so much the first mission trip, but the second mission trip, to see these little kids, no shoes, tattered clothing, eating out of garbage piles. It was heartbreaking to see these kids just living such a poor life.
Existence, almost with no future, no hope.
Exactly. Yeah, it was really heart-wrenching.
So you came back into the States with that upon your heart. How long did it take for you to decide, I'm going to do something about this if I can?
It really started, I guess, festering is a good word. About 10 years into my career, after the second mission trip, I thought, I really want to take my skills and use them to help others who don't have the opportunity or the accessibility to dental care. And so I did some research, and again, like I said earlier, really there was not a lot of dental hygiene opportunities. It was all dental. Because I thought, well, I'll jump on a mercy ship. And the mercy ships are great because they have full medical, full dental. I mean, you can get anything you want there, but really they didn't focus on prevention. It was all kind of, they focused on the main problem.
Sometimes requiring surgery.
Exactly.
Okay, and not the preventative side.
Exactly.
What can we educate them to learn while we're gone to take care of in our absence? Yes. So, all right. So when you did your research, did you decide to do this on your own or with a team, or how did you wind up in another nation?
Really, I just kind of gave up hope. Actually, I was like, well, they're just focusing on dentistry, and hygienists weren't really a big part of the picture for these missions. And so I just kind of put it on the back burner, thought about it a lot. And it was kind of an accident, I guess you could say. I'm part of the mission committee of the First Presbyterian Church, and we received an email from the Incline Village Church asking for monetary support for a mission trip that they were doing to the Dominican Republic. And it was a dental mission, and it was pretty much a grassroots dental mission. They had a missionary come and from Kids Alive International and speak to them about their mission worldwide. And one of the gals in Incline thought, she was a hygienist, she thought, oh, we could do a dental mission. And so they kind of started talking about it, sent down an email to our mission committee, and it got passed to me because I'm a dental person. And so I just called up, I said, hey, I'm willing to help stateside. I just finished my bachelor's degree in public health focus in dental hygiene, and I would really love to help you do whatever you could do. What do you need me to do? And they said, well, why don't you come with us? I was like, oh, okay. And so I got involved with them, and it just kind of steamrolled, and there were, at that point, it was pretty small. There was one dentist, 2 hygienists, and a few support staff that they had put together.
Okay, the support staff doing what? In other words, cooking?
No, actually, it was really great because Kids Alive has homes that you go stay in.
All right.
So they had a cook that would come in and cook lunch and dinner, breakfast and dinner.
Okay.
And the other support staff was the Kids Alive staff at the school we went to, helped with generators and finding a place for us to do our dentistry, because they had no recollection of what it required to do dentistry. Medicine is a little bit easier to travel abroad. You need a stethoscope, blood pressure cuff, some meds, that kind of thing. But dentistry, you have to take the entire clinic with you. So you need the chairs and the compressors and the lights and all the instruments that you need to do any kind of dentistry.
So you wind up in the Dominican Republic. How long were you there?
We were there 10 days.
What did you see with your eyes?
It was
the Dominican is the other side of Haiti.
Exactly.
Right.
They're right next to Haiti. I saw kids with such great spirit. They were so cute. Kids Alive International, they take in orphans. They have orphanages, and they school them. They feed them. They clothe them. They educate them. And one great story was a gal, Maria Rebecca, who had just graduated high school and was not really sure what she wanted to do with her life. And she thought, well, maybe, I'll help out. I'll translate on this mission trip. And so she helped translate, because I don't think any of us spoke Spanish, actually. And so she was actually a Kids Alive kid. She was taken in at age 8. She lived in the jungle. She had no family. She spoke her own language. She ate out of trash cans, ate what she could. They took her in at 8. They clothed her. They fed her. They educated her. So she was kind of their prodigy. And not many women in the Dominican Republic graduate high school, get educated, or anything. They're kind of,
second-class
citizens put on the back burner.
Yep.
And so she came in, and our focus on that trip, since it was our flagship trip, was really to meet the immediate needs of the children. Fillings, baby teeth that were so decayed that they were abscessed and hurting the kids so they couldn't focus.
Yeah.
And so we kind of put her on, because she spoke Spanish, help us teach the kids how to brush their teeth. So her job was to do oral hygiene. And so we disclosed the kids, which is a little liquid that turns plaque pink. And that was her job the whole week. And she just absolutely fell in love with it. And so at the end of the week, she decided that she wanted to be a dentist. And her goal when she was done with dental school was to come back and serve the kids of Kids Alive. And
in the Dominican?
In the Dominican Republic. Yep. And so we had some money left over. And so we left it with her. We left it with Kids Alive. And if she decided to go to school, that we would support her. We would help her. And we actually ended up funding her entire first year of dental school. She went on to dental school.
Where did she go on to dental school? In the States? Or?
No, in the Dominican Republic.
In the Dominican, okay.
And with that, it was really great because the school and Kids Alive, actually we were the first dental mission that Kids Alive International had ever had in their whole existence. And it was just kind of, I think they saw the impact that we had on the kids, because on that first trip we did some vacation Bible school. So some of the supporting people that we took, we had kind of a half and half team. We had the dental team and the vacation Bible school team. And so they really interacted with the kids and really helped them see, because Kids Alive is a Christian organization. Okay. And so they really helped the kids of Kids Alive realize that God was not just in the Dominican Republic, that it was everywhere. And we would really focus when we sat the kids down, one, because they were terrified at first, because in the Dominican Republic, dentistry is, it's not common. Okay. It's an extravagance. And so they were all terrified to come see us. And so
was it part of their experience?
No, they would go only if they had a really bad toothache, and anesthetic cost extra. So typically their dentistry was done without anesthetic. So they were all just terrified from the stories that they heard. Sure. And so we would sit down with them and we would pray. We would pray over them and with them and let them know that we were there, and if they were afraid, it was okay. That we were there with them. We were there with them. And so we really focused on their dental needs. And by the end of the week, at the beginning of the week, we had like 1 or 2 kids come. By the end of the week, we had people from the community lining up to come in, because they realized
word had spread
that we were there to take care of their dental needs. Back to Maria Rebecca. She fell in love. We paid for her first year, and they built a clinic. They built a dental clinic. And so it took a few years, but she ended up graduating from dental school, and she comes back and serves the children of Kids Alive.
Great story, great story. Are you looking forward to any other trips abroad?
I am. My goal is to retire, hopefully sooner than later. And I would love to be a full-time missionary, not only as a dental hygienist to kind of teach, but just to go be a missionary and help people.
You know, when we can help someone through critical needs like medicine, surgeries, it changes us as a person.
It does.
It changes them and it changes us. And you really feel that you're making differences, they're making differences in your life and vice versa. It's a real good exchange. And you see where life has great value wherever you go. And if you can share your education, your expertise, it encouraged one little girl to come back and become a dental hygienist. I want to say thank you so much for the time that you've spent with us, okay? And I hope that it will give great thought to others out there who say, you know, I would like to be a part of a team like that. I can cook, I can run errands, I can provide blankets, I can do a lot of things as a support member.
Definitely.
We don't always have to have the educational background or the professional experience. We can be a member who is right there with the team.
Definitely.
Giving support to each other. All right. Well, we have learned a lot, okay? And I have a feeling that this won't be the last time we hear from this young lady, all right? So thank you so much for joining us. Have a good evening. Stay well. Good night.